Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40k Universe. I am your host Gersh1 and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we're going through a very quick 40 facts. I'll be honest with you guys, it's not really 40 facts, it's only going to be 35 facts. But don't worry because this is adding up to a bigger and much better video. So let's get into 40 facts about the second founding. The second founding of the Space Marines occurred 7 standard years after the end of the Horus Heresy. To learn more about the Horus Heresy, please check out our Horus Heresy series. It's amazing. To prevent the Space Marine legions from becoming too powerful and rebelling against the Emperor in the same way Horus did during the Heresy, the existing Loyalist Space Marine legions were divided into smaller Successor Chapters. These Successor Chapters would be made up of a 1,000-man force as decreed by the new Codex Estar Ds. The Codex Estar Ds is a great and scared tome of military organization, strategy, and tactics written by Robert Guilliman, the Primarch of the Ultramarine Space Marine Legion, to prevent another civil war like the Horus Heresy. No complete copies of this original text is known to exist, although the majority of their tomes have survived and is available to all Space Marines, if not committed to memory. To learn more about the Codex Estar Ds, please check out our 40 facts on this subject. It will probably be out the day after this video is posted. This event became known as the Second Founding, during which each of the secondary founding chapters was created from the ranks of their parent legions. The first warriors to form the ranks of the new chapters were the very same Space Marines that fought alongside the Primarchs before and during the Horus Heresy. Each second founding chapter initially shared their parent legion's gene seed. Subsequently, each chapter's gene seed was isolated by the Adeptus Mechanicus, forming new genetic lines. Guilliman tasked the Adeptus Terra on Earth with setting up and maintaining genetic banks to produce and store Space Marine gene seed. To prevent cross-contamination, the genetic stock of each legion was isolated, while the traitor legions was placed under a time-locked stasis seal, though at this time it is believed that they have been destroyed. Because the Space Marines that made up each of the second founding chapters originated from one of the legions that first served the Emperor, the chapters that were created were called Successor Chapters. Successor Chapters is a title not given to later chapters of the many subsequent foundings that have been carried out by the Imperium after the initial split to keep the numbers of chapters at around 1,000. Each newly created Successor Chapter would send 5% of its genetic material to the Adeptus Terra and the Adeptus Mechanicus for testing and monitoring. In some cases, the chapters were created by gathering together battle brothers of a particular outlook. One example of this is the Imperial Fist Legion, who was broken down into the Black Templars and the Crimson Fists. Many more zealous old battle brothers joined the Black Templar chapter, while those willing to follow the doctrines of the Codex Estar Ds laid out by Guilliman formed the basis of the Crimson Fist chapter. As time marched on, and these original legionnaires passed into memory, the second founding chapters forged their own histories and traditions, distinct from their parent legion. Whatever path they took, however, successor chapters remain rightfully proud of their roots, and even many thousands of years after the second founding, they are still held as second only to the first founding chapters in honor. Many second founding chapters retain close links with their first founding chapter, and this is especially true amongst the successors of the Ultramarines. The vast majority of the second founding chapters were created from the ranks of the Ultramarine Legion, which has always been the largest, therefore the one capable of dividing its numbers into different chapters. While no strict or formalized superiority exists, they often look to the Ultramarines chapter master Calgar as a unifying figurehead, following his lead and prosecuting his wars. Over the 10,000 years of the Imperium history, some second founding chapters have clashed with other parent chapters, striking out on their own for a variety of reasons. Some legions were not large enough to be divided more than once, as was the case for the Space Wolves and their successor chapter, the ill-fated Wolf Brothers. The second founding occurred so long ago in the Imperium's troubled history that no reliable account of details exists. Exactly how many chapters were founded and from which legion is unclear. One of the earliest known accounts is to be found within a version of the Codex Estar Ds known as Apothecaria of Chaos, and this crumbling tome claims that the Ultramarine legions seared 23 chapters, but famously omits to list them all. The only chapter to not have a successor chapter is that of the Salamanders, but even that is unknown. The Grey Knights, the elite Space Marine chapter that served as the chamber militant of the Ordo Malus of the Inquisition, was secretly created during the second founding. The source of its genetic seed is unknown, but if you watch our Grey Knights fact video, you'll know what it is. Some chapters that believe themselves second founding may not be at all, while others may be second founding but be ignorant to the fact. The 10,000-year history of the Imperium is so fractured, its annals so scattered and incomplete, that it is likely that the truth of the matter may never be known. The Angels of Absolution, the Angels of Redemption, the Angels of Vengeance, the Angels of Vigilance, and the Lion Sables all are successor chapters of the Dark Angels. The Destroyers, the Marauders, the Rampagers, the Stormlords are all successor chapters of the White Scars. The Wolf Brothers are a successor chapter of the Space Wolves. The Black Templars, the Crimson Fists, the Exorators, Fist Exemplars, Iron Knights, and Soul Drinkers are all successor chapters of the Imperial Fists. Angels and Carmine, Angels Sanguinian, Angels Vermilion, Blood Drinkers, Flesh Terrors, Sons of Sanguinius are all successor chapters of the Blood Angels. The Brazen Claws, Emperor's Shadows, Red Talons are all successor chapters of the Iron Hands. The Aurora chapter, Black Consuls, Doom Eagles, Eagle Warriors, Genesis chapter, Inceptors, Iron Snakes, Liberators, Mortificators, Nemesis, Nova Marines, Patriarchs of Ullix, Praetors of Orpheus, Silver Eagles, and Silver Skulls are all successor chapters of the Ultramarines. And the White Consuls, can't forget about them. The Black Guard, Raptors, and Revilers are all successor chapters of the Raven Guard. Successor chapters that have an unknown parent legion are the Desert Lions, Red Hunters, and Yellow Jackets. And those were 35 facts about the second founding. It technically is more than 35 facts because I gave you multiple chapters, but now it is time for you guys to comment down below and tell me if you guys actually collect an army that is a successor chapter with a color scheme and everything. I really want to know. I see a lot of Blood Angels armies, I see a lot of Ultramarines, Space Wolves, but I never really see second founding chapters. So if you created a second founding chapter or if you created your own chapter later on, please comment down below. Now stay tuned for part 2, kind of. I'm going over the Codex Estar Ds. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you can get that. And of course, we post new 40k videos every single day, so please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing this with all your friends. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.